Good morning, one and all. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School, and I am striving to live stream from a deep lagoon of technical difficulties. I'm going to jerry rig this and do what I can to share a meditation class and lead a guided meditation. And although this is uh, although this is not the level of quality you've come to experience from this channel, however low that might already be, I'm doing the best I can, and I hope you will be indulge these technical difficulties. Right now, I'm trying to set up my so-called side monitor, which is another phone. And my talking head seems to be yammering. So I'm going to consider that a victory. Okay, so having stretched your ear and given you some context, let's jump right in. I am a sci-fi geek. Prior to 1977, I had to get my sci-fi fix from Star Trek, the original series, and Doctor Who. So you can imagine my delight in 1977 when Star Wars: A New Hope was released, and as a 12-year-old, I got to see it on the big screen. And this movie blew my little furry mind. You see, prior to that time, I was familiar with the archetype of holy man as coward or holy man as charlatan. But with our friend Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Alec Guinness way back in 1977, that was the first time I was exposed to the idea of holy man as selfless hero. Prior to that time, I looked at religion, both Eastern and Western, both, um, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? The word will come to me, but anyway, both outward religion and the subtle religion of meditation, I looked at those things through the lens of fear, trying not to take an inauspicious rebirth, trying not to die horribly or experience any type of misfortune, and through the lens of greed, trying to get long life, health, success, love, and all the rest. In other words, I looked at religion as a tool for manifesting. And this was the first time I was exposed to the idea that there may be real or imagined spiritual technologies that could be used selflessly, that could be used to empower one to serve humanity, which just blew my mind. And I in the corner of my eye, I see a question, and I will tend to it moment. I will tend to it right now. And so James writes, "Good morning, Lama. I am a recovering addict and my cravings are coming up. I was wondering if you had any advice, please." Yes, I do. So, number one, cravings do not occur in a vacuum. Our cravings for illicit substances are indicative of a dysfunctioned dopamine reward system. So the first thing I would say is explore other avenues of dopamine because your body doesn't care where it gets the dopamine. Now, I'm going to beat a dead horse. I'm sorry for my fellow vegans for that choice of words, but I'm going to repeat myself. We have to make really strategic lifestyle choices. We've got to get enough sleep. We've got to get our sexual needs met, if not from a partner, then from ourselves. and whatever toys strike our fancy. We need to make sure we're eating the most nutritious, healing, whole food, plant based diet we can get our hands on. As someone who is on SSI myself, I've shopped for many years at the dollar store to eat a whole food diet. And it's the cheapest diets on the planet are third world vegan diets. Lentils, rice, whatever vegetables and fruits you can get your hands on, seeds and nuts. You can get these relatively cheap at a dollar store, unless you have a stupendous budget, then knock yourself out. Um, Fresh air, sunshine, exercise, watching, consuming media that gives you pleasure, be it novel or movie or TV, hanging out with friends who get your back. If you have an addiction to an illicit substance, go to a 12-step meeting. You might not agree with those people 100% on everything, but if you go there and say, I feel like my sobriety is in peril and I need some help, a percentage of them will rise to the occasion and some percentage of them will be helpful. And you know what? I'd rather have ham-handed, imperfect help than no help at all. Socializing, drinking stale coffee, hanging out, doing things that you're familiar with can trigger subtle release of dopamine. And right now, if you're experiencing a cravings for an addiction, for an illicit substance that has killed many people in the past, you need all the healthy, wholesome dopamine sources you can get. What I'd like to do, gosh, I really can't do this right now because once again, I'm having trouble with, well, you may be able to do this. If you're watching this on YouTube, you may be able to scroll down in the description area below the video under the heading, gosh, under 2/3 of the way down, you should find something about addiction. And there are physicians who use a medical model for addiction. They're cheaper than going into rehab. You can do it for like $100 or something. These guys have had an 83% success rate. Typically, 12-step has a much lower success rate. That doesn't mean it's not better than nothing. It means it's not the only horse in the race. And your goal right now is sobriety. You're not married to any one means of sobriety. I'm going to see if I can access that information right now. Let me see how I can do this. Well, I'm in screen share mode right now, or I should be. So, oh gosh. I'm a little out to sea right now because I'm unfamiliar with this modality that I'm using. And yes, here we go. Well, it would appear I'm in screen share, which is good. So let's go over here. That's not helpful. So I am in screen share according to the kids. Well, actually not. That's weird. Let's try this again. Screen share. Let's click. There we go. So now I'm in screen share. So I'm going to try to look up a link for medical model sobriety. Do you bear with me? Documents, articles, blurbs. Here we go. And addiction. So here is a link for medical model. And I don't know how to get this to you right now. Other than just to put this as big as I can on the screen and invite you to jot it down. So it's YouTube/watch question mark Victor equal capital Delta small kilo capital golf underscore capital Yankee underscore small golf large of zero underscore um, lowercase, what's the word I'm looking for? Charlie, uh, lowercase, Oscar. You're welcome. So you've got 12 step, which is much better than nothing. You've got medical model. This is a good start. But if you need something really quick, get some dopamine. Whether it is chanting or meditating or Buddha bowing or whatever type of exercise you like doing, that will help. And now I'm just repeating myself. Um, and I apologize for that. So, having said that, I'm going to return to the previously, I'm going to return to the lecture. So, back in 1977, my mind was blown, and I saw that spiritual technology could be applied selflessly. And that blew my mind. And that set me on the path to study Buddhism and Taoism and Zen and Tibetan Buddhism and Tantra and all that kind of good stuff. But Star Wars wasn't the only influence, the only sci-fi influence I was exposed to. I was also exposed to Star Trek, the original series, and Kirk's libido, which at 12 years old, I could really identify with. And so I was happy to discover that celibacy was not the only route for spirituality. Asceticism was not the only route for spirituality. There are spiritual applications for every pleasure we have. Or I should say, every legal pleasure. Don't want to go off into the old Hellraiser thing and torture people. That's yucky. Unless they're into that, that's completely different. But 9 times out of 10, when it comes to legal pleasures, there's a way of bringing them into the spiritual path. If your teacher cannot give you specific advice about how to bring your favorite legal, harmless pleasure into the spiritual path, then it's time to shop for another teacher. So let's see. Let's take a cursory exploration of mindfulness and meditation. Whatever pleasure, the easiest pleasure is sexuality, whether with a partner or by yourself. In the midst of pleasure, we can practice mindfulness. And how would that work? Well, as we inhale, we are wired thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, not for active concentration, but to simply perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Therefore, probably the easiest way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite this, the demonstrative pronoun this, during each inhalation. What do we do next? Well, during our exhalation, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we're wired for physical relaxation as well as mental release. Therefore, the most efficient way to practice meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one syllable verb ease, which is a synonym for relax, to recite ease during each exhalation. And that's where we practice mindfulness and meditation in harmony with our inhalation and exhalation, whether our clothes is on or off, whether we're by ourselves or with someone else. And so, one of the most empowering things on my journey from geek to Jedi is this: that the spiritual technologies do not have to be used exclusively as a reaction to dread or greed. They can be used to serve others. We can use spiritual technologies without repressing our benign drives. We can engage in the world around us in a meaningful way, in a centered way, in a spontaneous way, without forsaking meditation. Here's my friend, you're welcome. Excellent. So I'm turning my attention now. And once again, I do apologize because this is a bit slapdash, as the kids would say. I think now would be an ideal opportunity to chant this morning's excerpt from the final meditation manual penned by the great Tibetan saint Za Paltrul Rinpoche. May I add a consonant here? This root text is lauded by the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. Now, if at any point at all during this morning's live stream, you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist chanting, or any other potential applications, don't be shy. Immediately type your question in the chat window. If you're watching on a laptop or a desktop, that chat window should be on the right. On the right. There we go. And if you're using your smartphone vertically, it should be right down here. There we go. One moment. So together, let's chant. Put your child devotion at the doorway of your practice. Give your son renunciation, mastery over the household of ordinary life. Would your daughter compassion to the bridegroom of the three worlds, consummating your duty to the living Resartha's excitable mantra. If any of this is opaque or puzzling to you, type your question and I will happily answer it. Whatever appears as delusion and has no truly graspable existence, fear of samsara and hope for nirvana are just thoughts and nothing more. If you could liberate thoughts as they arise, that includes all the stages of the path. Applying the essential instruction for liberating thoughts, recite the six-syllable mantra. Your own mind aware and void inseparably. Take two. Your own mind aware and void inseparably is like the mastery of awareness and letting go, known as the Dharmakaya. Leave everything as it is, and fundamental simplicity and clarity will arise by itself. Only by doing nothing will you do all there is to be done. Leave everything invulnerably naked, void awareness, recite the six-syllable mantra. Let stillness cut the momentum of moving thoughts. Within movement, see the very nature of stillness. Where movements take two, where stillness and movement all one. Maintain the naturally spontaneous and uncontrived mind. So, in other words, this is important. We don't choose what to notice. We don't choose what to see, hear, feel, taste, smell, or the like. We do not choose what to emote, intend, reason, recall, imagine, or confabulate. We're going along for the ride, noticing and releasing in harmony with our inhalation and exhalation. This is not the path of being controlling. This is the path of being laid back. Together, in the experience of one-pointedness, recite the six-syllable mantra. By examining with awareness vulnerable, passive, visceral, and spontaneous relative truth. Establish a physical relaxation and mental release, revealing absolute truth. Within the physical relaxation and mental release, revealing absolute truth. See how the awareness, vulnerable, passive, visceral, and spontaneous superlative truth arises. Whether two truths practices are inseparable from the practices of inhalation and exhalation. True mastery beyond intellect is the state of simplicity. And this is as good a place as any to let you know that if you see words that are in brackets and italicized, that's me performing a technique known as amplification or spontaneous concise commentary. If you see something that a word that is just as big as all the other words, but it's italicized, that's just me swapping one word for a synonym. I do this because my primary goal is not to please a fundamentalist, but to make this as useful as possible to the unwashed barbarians of North America, such as myself. In the view free of all the elaboration, recite the six-syllable mantra. And don't worry, before this session is over, we will explore what the six-syllable mantra is. If you've just joined in, welcome. Remember, the moment you have a question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, type your question in the chat window. I'll be delighted to answer your questions for you. I'm such an enthusiastic control freak that way back when, in the early 90s, when I attended my first group chanting practice at a Tibetan Dharma center, I raised my hand in the middle of class to ask a question. And of course, I had the self-control not to interrupt, but the poor teacher should have stopped and said, "We don't ask questions during sadhana." So if you feel anxious, if you feel like you're going to jump out of your skin, been there, done that, I will answer your questions. It's all good. From appearances cut away the clinging of mind, from mind demolish the layer of fictitious appearances, where modern appearances are one as infinite emptiness. In the realization of one taste of infinite openness that is shared by all, recite the six-syllable mantra. Kawabanga. Okay, here we go. Well, that was Jim Dandy. And I think the next thing we're going to do is hit the primary practice text or the sadhana. And it's my goal to have all the text we use available for free download by using the links in the description area. I am a day late and $1 short when it comes to that. I'm disabled and I've had a very exciting week, so I'm behind. That's not an excuse, but it is what's going on. And I'll do my best in the future to get things up to speed. Now, we will hit our chanting and our meditation and our mantra meditation and our silent meditation in less than a minute. Right now, I'd like to practice a bit of the old housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. I have spent more than half my life studying, practicing, and reverse engineering the teachings and practices of each sect of Buddhism so that you can quickly and easily become the person that your dog already thinks you are. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. If you want to help out with the just click the Patreon link in the description area below the video. Hopefully it's there. Okay, here we go. James asks a question. I'll get back to James in a minute. So boom, we finished housekeeping, getting ready to hit sadhana training. But first, the question. James asks, when chanting We seem to stress certain syllables. I was wondering if there was a reason. Yes, there is, because of melody. Um, I know one nun who only uses the same chant for everything, and that's convenient. I know one of my late teachers used to have a plethora of chants, and some of them were just enchanting. They could be a little really overwhelming. At least they were for me. So what I try to do is I only use two chants. I use a triplet chant and a bookend chant. And I try to use accents and bold uh, effects to communicate when a syllable is emphasized. So the rule of thumb with chanting is it's monosyllabic. I'm sorry, it's monotone with certain exceptions. And having said that, we're going to go straight to those exceptions right now. I'm going to quick like a bunny. Welcome to our sadhana known as Kind Gazes Easy Tantra. I am reminded of the words of the quip attributed to the late Albert Einstein, who said, any educated idiot can make things more complicated, more difficult, and more violent. However, it takes a lot of courage and a little bit of genius to move in the opposite direction. What I found is when I look at the life of the great Tibetan saint Dzogchen Rinpoche, as a young man, he enthusiastically embraced complexity. As an old man, he embraced simplicity. And striving to walk in his footsteps, I teach the practices in the way that's easiest and most effective because, and it took me a while to learn this, just because something's difficult, or say, let me modify that. Just because something is more difficult doesn't mean it is more effective. Sometimes it means the opposite. So, quick like a bunny, we're going to do our first chant. We're going to chant empathetic bodhicitta, enthusiastic refuge, using the triplet chant. I love this triplet chant. If you ever have insomnia, I found the triplet chant can be deliciously sedating. Don't worry, we're only going to do one repetition, so we shouldn't fall asleep. So I used the triple chant because the first three lines were three syllables. 1, 2, 3, just like going down the stairs. May I live. So although I'm tone deaf, I can basically, in a clunky way, say, oh, each note is a little bit lower than the one that came before it, like you're walking downstairs. Same thing with the second line. Another three steps, but you're starting again from the top landing. So beginning, you're at the top of the landing. May I live, then back up, the rate all, and then you return to monotones. Beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging. And then we do it again. By relying on thee. Here comes the monotone. Buddha's example, instructions, and students. So this is cool. This is telling us what we're being liberated from, the tyranny. Whoopsie. Let's fix that bad boy. The tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying upon the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. These three things are so potent, they earned the metaphoric nickname of the three wish-fulfilling jewels, which we refer to in the concise bookend version of the same ideas together. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. You can find superstitious teachers who will tell you of all the supernatural benefits that come from reciting bodhicitta and refuge. However, as an individual who was influenced by Carl Sagan as a young boy, I tried to keep things rational. I like this recitation because these words exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm. I like to practice this not only at the beginning of each meditation session, but also once a day. I blend it with exercise. I blend it with geriatric step back squat thrusts because it's free and it feels great and it's fun. Now, you and me might not have the same definition of fun. I think most people will agree I'm a big fat weirdo, but who knows? You might be a weirdo too. James, you're welcome, and I applaud your enthusiasm and curiosity. So, quickly, who's this fellow on the screen? This is a statue of an archetype of enlightened compassion, whose iconography helps us in our mantra meditations, which are coming right up. This individual is known by many names in Sanskrit as Avalokiteshvara, in Tibetan as Chenrezig, and in English as kind eyes or kind gaze or great compassionate one. There are plenty of people who will take a superstitious approach to this, but I found that superstition just makes us nuttier than a shithouse rat. I don't think any of us need more neurosis in our lives. I know I have plenty. How about you? So right now we're going to start mantra meditation. It's known by many names. It can serve as antidotes to hating and are known by many names such as generation stage tantra, mantra yoga, maha yoga, tantra mahamudra, and according to some teachers, Dzogchen's Tokal. Remember, the Dalai Lama teaches that every teacher is his own sect, and every teacher has subtly different definitions. The question isn't whose teacher is handsomer or whose teacher is older or whose teacher is richer or whose teacher has more fame. The question is, when I apply a certain set of instructions for as little as 5 minutes twice a day for 7 consecutive days, does this make me more peaceful or less peaceful? More loving or more cranky? That's the test of the teachings. Let's chant. Let's review the meaning of the mantra. Om I invoke the wish of ending money, jewel of love, by purifying the pay me lotus of letting go. Oh, let's take two. And the purifying pay me lotus of letting go, whom may all beings master this path. So Om Mani Padme Hum, the Tibetan pronunciation of the world's most famous Buddhist mantra, could be translated as being a wish, being an intention, that all beings everywhere master the path of love and letting go. We're now going to bring the 4 bases of mindfulness into the path of love. So here's the pattern we're going to follow. We're going to chant an extensive loving wish. And then we're going to silently and mentally recite a concise version of that same wish, which we shall do that during our inhalation. During our exhalation, we shall physically relax as best we can while whispering the mantra. And if this feels a trifle like rubbing your head while patting your tummy, that's fine. May all minds of all beings now be as peaceful and wise as a Buddha's mind, symbolized by a one-syllable mantra known as a Siti Clay or Bija mantra. May all relationships of all beings be as joyful and loving as a Buddha's communication symbolized by the 6-syllable mantra. May all bodies of all beings know enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist thought of the blissful body of a Dhamma floor and octave of enlightenment. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safety, good fortune, or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or vati. So paradise makes sense in English. Pure land and vati is the Sanskrit equivalent, whose literal translation is pure land. Having completed the that's what I wanted to fix. Okay, here we go. Copy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, here we go. We're going to leapfrog. Okay, so we just leapfrog over our competitive tendencies. With Mahayoga's so-called Dzogchens and Tantra Mahamudras. Right. Aspiration, also known as wishing love. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Udabar. Let's put over. Come on now. Over our. So now we're going to leapfrog over our clinging tendencies again with Mahayoga's so-called Dzogchens and Mahamudra's right view of reality. Okay. Let's review this weird word called emptiness. We're not going to get lost in pseudo-intellectualism. We're not going to get lost in superstition. We're going to practice like yogis. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a beautiful cloudless morn, which, although compelling to the eye, is not graspable to the hand. Again, we're going to play with the four bases of mindfulness, this time bringing them into the path of letting go. Same pattern. We're going to start with an extensive rhetorical question, and then its really, really concise, silent counterpart. Here we go. How is it that as we inhale, our circumstances could appear quite vivid? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as not graspable as a real or imagined body of light. So our job is not to visualize. Our job is not to believe. Our job is simply to play with similes and metaphors. The key to viscerally realizing the wisdom of letting go is to physically relax as best you can during the whispered recitation of this six-syllable mantra. How is it that as we inhale, our bodies could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined yidam of light. I think a future product in a future project, I will take this image and try to create an image where it looks translucent. That could be a fun project for me to play with, but not this moment. How is it that as we inhale, communications experience of the interpersonal could be quite resounding? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable as a mantra of light. I'm living proof that someone can be functionally tone deaf and still do this deal. I remember one time I was at an event and we were all singing songs of devotion, and the person I was sitting next to gave me a sidelong glance and then slowly lifted her palms to her ears so she could protect her perfect pitch from my vocal version of a garbage disposal running with a spoon stuck inside it. Together. How is it that as we inhale, all minds' functions could seem quite clear, yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non graspable as a bija of light? Excellent. Having completed mantra meditation, we turn our attention to silent meditations, awareness letting go, which can serve as an antidote to cleaning while also slicing through the fundamental duality of dread and desire. It is known by many names, such as Zen, Chandhyana, Great Completion Stage, Tantra, Mahasandhi, Ati Yoga, Sutra, Mahamudra, and our friend Dzogchen's Trek Show, or Slice Through. So we glanced on the meditation instructions during the lesson. Let's take a deeper dive. We're going to begin with the 12 syllable exercise, 12 syllables on the inhalation, 12 syllables on the exhalation. As we breathe in, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. As we exhale, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. So, what are some of the ways that mind plays? What are some of the antics of mind? Now, some people say that mind being dynamic is a bad thing. Malarkey. The Buddha never taught that. It's how we're wired. If we try not to do that, we'll cause more damage than we fix. So, our minds, what are some of the antics of our mind? Our mind, through its various organs, sees, hears, feels, tastes, smells, and the like. Our mind also emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, imagines, and confabulates. And all confabulation is the overlapping Venn diagram between recall and imagination. And it's typically involuntary. So don't beat yourself up. In fact, it's so common that from a scientific point of view, an eyewitness testimony is worthless. Time and again, they've proven that if you get 5 different eyewitnesses, they will have 5 different accounts. They're not lazy. That's just how they're wired. So every time we relax, every time we exhale, we're wired to physically relax and mentally release. As we relax during our exhalation, whatever we notice during our inhalation could feel, this is a simile, as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, which is cool. We don't have to believe it. We don't have to feel it. We're just playing with these words in harmony with our breathing. Let's give it a go. This is one of my favorite meditations to perform after I wake up from a nightmare. If you wish, and this is completely optional. Oh, yes, I forgot to do my fancy thing. Come, let us meditate as transformatively or as profoundly as Ahsoka Tano on Lothal. So, having played with the 12 syllable exercise, now let's play with the 3 syllable exercise. If you wish, you may now switch gears to the 1 syllable exercise of this is. There are three lineages of Dzogchen instruction. Translated into English, they are the mind lineage, the space lineage, and the essence lineage. Having studied them for multiple decades, my favorite is the mind lineage. That's the perspective I teach from. In the mind lineage, we do not try to force the experience of bliss. We do not try to force the experience of vastness. We play with whatever comes up in harmony with the natural processes of our autonomic nervous system. The quickest path to full enlightenment is the mind lineage of Dzogchen. Welcome to the group meditation practice. If at any point you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type the question in the chat window. I check for questions once every 8 or 9 minutes. Simply put, the easiest way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. That's the key. And the easiest way to practice meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one syllable verb ease, which is a synonym for relax, during each exhalation. Let us seal this meditation with a bit of the old chanting, beginning with the 4 bases of mindfulness. May all mind, speech, forms, and lots be as wise, living, healthy, and fortunate as kind gazes real or imagined mind, speech, form, and paradise. We turn now to mastery and liberation. May all beings like kind grace master the eightfold path as well as liberate others. Let us now chant the ethics of kindness. Or better yet, chant kind ethics. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, spontaneous and uncontrived. Let us chant auspicious rebirth. At the very end of each being's life, may they take immediate and auspicious rebirth. Master the Buddha's path and then help others do likewise. We conclude now with the four immeasurables. May everyone be free from stress. May everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. Whoops, wrong button. Let's try that again. Here we go. If you feel that I have earned it, you can give this a thumbs up. You can even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 10 and a half hours, I would very much like to return to lead this evening's meditation class and guided meditation practice. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.